One thing's for certain, there's no shortage of conspiracy theories out there. From the moon landing to flat Earth, all the way to 9/11 being an inside job, it seems as if there's some sort of conspiracy for everything. Some people will go to extreme lengths to believe anything they're told, and some people even find any scrap of information they can turn into evidence to prove the impossible theory they came up with in a haze. It goes without saying, we here at List 25 in no way believe any of these theories, nor think that you should believe them either. I'm Michael with List 25, and here are the top 25 most obscure conspiracy theories you didn't know existed. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell, do all that other fun stuff. And with that out of the way, let's go. #25. Jesus fled his crucifixion and went to Japan. This conspiracy isn't just a theory that crazy people in their basements believe. This is one believed by an entire town. The town is Shingo, a town in Japan that claims it's home to the final resting place of Jesus Christ. It's frequented by locals to come and take pictures of and have a picnic. It's less of a worship place and more of a local gathering place to have a nice afternoon. The basis of this theory is that Christ had visited Japan and studied under a priest at Mount Fuji. When he returned to his homeland, he preached his teachings. When things didn't go well and was going to be put to the cross, his identical brother named Isukiri kindly offered to take the place of his brother on the cross. Jesus then fled to Japan, where he settled down, had a wife, a family, and eventually died. The site is run by the proposed descendants of Christ himself. I didn't go there on my trip to Japan. #24. Dinosaurs helped build the pyramids. This theory, while pretty out there, is actually kind of interesting. The theory began to get around after some hieroglyphics were uncovered depicting a tall, lizard-like creature helping workers lift stones for the pyramids in Giza. The lizard-like creatures in question are actually depicting serpopards, a mythical animal that's depicted as a cross between a leopard and a snake, having a long curvy neck and a leopard head. It appears in many other Egyptian artifacts and writings. While some believe that this is what the Egyptians believed dinosaurs to look like, many took the images literally and thought that dinosaurs were walking around ancient Egypt. This theory was given further thought and support when a small raptor fossil was discovered buried in a small chamber in the pyramids. #23. The Yakuza caused Hurricane Katrina. For decades, there has been a rumor that in the atmosphere there is a Soviet-Russian-made device designed to weaponize the weather. And if the mere idea of that weren't enough to drive you mad, well then get ready for what this weatherman believes. An Idaho native weatherman by the name of Scott Stevens went on record claiming that the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, somehow got control of this device and were using it against the US to create catastrophic weather events. He believes that they caused Hurricane Katrina and would use it again later that same year. He says that he saw irregularities in weather patterns above Montana, and that was all he needed to believe this. The weather station that he was employed at kept him on staff, so no doubt he has access to spread his misguided idea still. #22. The CIA bombed a Mexican island. The island of Bermeja used to be on a number of maps until there was an oil drilling dispute between Mexico and the US around 2008. As it turns out, the island of Bermeja was actually a phantom island. If you didn't know, phantom islands are islands that would appear on cartography maps for years, even centuries at a time, and then one day would just no longer be there, due to either shifting sea levels or just navigational mistakes. Well, because the discovery resulted in the US getting massive economic and resource gains, there were some that claimed that the CIA secretly destroyed the shoreline of the island to let it be swallowed by the ocean. They have absolutely zero proof of this, but they're still pretty certain. #21. The Tavistock Institute created the Beatles. There are a couple of conspiracies surrounding the Beatles, but this one is kinda crazy. This theory claims that the Beatles were invented by the Tavistock Institute in London, and that all of the songs were actually written by Theo Adorno. In fact, the theory goes on to even claim that the Tavistock Institute was responsible for the entire rock and roll British invasion of the 60s. The idea was that they invented multiple different rock and roll bands to implement social and cultural change. #20. Apollo 11 was an alien cover-up. Conspiracy theorists really have a strange fixation on the moon, don't they? This moon theory is a lot more convoluted than the fake moon landing theory. This one claims that the craters on the moon are actually evidence of the government's bombing of the moon to wipe out an alien race. Amazingly, this alien race lives on the dark side of the moon. You know, the side we can't see. This theory was given some credit in the conspiracy theorist community when Air Force Tactical Air Command technician Carl Wolf provided some plausibility to the idea. He said, "There were structures that were definitely not created by natural means, such as meteors or ancient collisions with other heavenly bodies. Now, people believe there's a secret war on an alien race living on the dark side of the moon. So, thanks for that, Carl." 19. The UN plans to wipe out life on Earth. This theory is the twisting of a plan that the UN actually has called Agenda 21. Agenda 21, in actuality, is a plan the UN is working on to control climate change and use more sustainable resources. But conspiracy theorists think it's something much more sinister. There are those that believe the UN is actually just a puppet for the Illuminati, and that the Agenda 21 is actually a plan to take over the world and create a singular global government. They believe that the UN's plan is to lower the world's population to just 500 million people, and that they'll be used as slave labor, and the rest of the population will be completely wiped out. They also believe this plan will be enacted by 2030, so I guess the UN, better get on it. 18. Planet 9 will destroy us all. There's actually some interesting research that NASA is doing to find a proposed 9th planet in our solar system. Sorry, Pluto. The 9th planet is said to be about the size of Neptune and orbits somewhere in the Kuiper Belt past Neptune. The astronomy community is actively searching for this planet and would love to find it. The more crazy theory behind this planet is that when it gets too close to Earth, it pushes asteroids towards us and kills all of us on the planet. The people who believe this also believe that it was this planet that was responsible for killing the dinosaurs. The ones that helped build the pyramids in Egypt. Astronomers have had to go on record saying that this theorized planet, if actually found, poses absolutely no threat to the planet Earth. 17. Queen Elizabeth II was a cannibal. Exiled philosopher Hubert Humdinger once claimed at a dinner party that the reason why Queen Elizabeth II was living so long must have been because she was a cannibal. No one really paid much attention to him, until he published an article in We Royalty magazine trying to convince people of his belief. He stated, "She must eat human flesh. To be so vivacious, there is an immense amount of spiritual energy in human muscle." He lost pretty much all his credibility after the article was published, but the theory picked up some traction in the conspiracy theory community when a worker was given clearance to check for electrical problems. He claimed he discovered a freezer containing human remains. 16. Finland isn't real. This one started as a Reddit joke and spiraled into a belief. A user on Reddit made ridiculous claims that Finland wasn't actually there. It stated that Finland was actually a fabricated nation by Russia and Japan designed to secure fishing rights back in 1917. The guy went to great lengths to back up the theory and used real-world fishing routes and business dealings. While the internet went crazy and made it into a viral meme, some took the idea to heart. Although the original Reddit poster admitted it was a joke, there were a few that truly believe that Finland is in actuality just a vast spread of ocean water. You know what? Hold on. Let me check. Yeah, no, it's still there on satellite images, but you know what? Let's be honest. The people that believe that hoax probably thinks satellite images are hoaxes too, so yay. What's up, Finland? I found Finland. Newfoundland. That's a geography pun. 15. The government performs blood sacrifices in April. This theory is loaded, so get ready. There are many tragedies that tend to happen in the month of April, and there are people who believe that this is because of April being a sacrifice month for many cults and religions across the history of civilization. That lone idea isn't too far-fetched, given the history that April has had being the month that a lot of cults perform sacrifice rites, specifically the cult of Baal, the sun god. The harder to believe aspect of this theory is that the big violent tragedies like gun violence, wildfires, killings, and many more are performed by the government who is secretly being controlled by the cult of Baal. 14. Alex Jones and the gay water theory. Ah yes, everyone's favorite conspiracy theorist loon, Alex Jones. Thankfully, he's fallen out of favor with a lot of the right-wing media channels that used to give him screen time, mostly due to theories like this one. During one of his patented rants, he claimed that the chemicals put into tap water were turning people gay in what he quoted was a gay bomb. Not only did he claim that the water was turning people gay, but he also claimed that it was turning frogs gay. Alex Jones, ladies and gentlemen. 13. The Large Hadron Collider is a portal to hell. The Large Hadron Collider is a particle accelerator that was placed at the Swiss-France border near Geneva. When they initially started running the collider, there were theorists that believed that once it was activated, it would create a black hole and swallow the entire planet. While in theory it'd be scientifically possible, scientists claim you need an accelerator the size of the universe to do so. After a 3-year-long hiatus, when the accelerator was undergoing repairs and maintenance, it was approved to start running again. Not long after it started up, there were people coming out of the woodwork on social media once again claiming that a black hole was imminent, but some went even further claiming that they were opening up a portal to another dimension, or a portal to hell. The scientists in charge have gone on record once again stating the impossibility of that happening. 12. The communists poison our water supply. So if you didn't know, around the time of the Cold War, state officials started putting fluoride in municipal water supplies in an effort to combat tooth decay. Many places still do this, by the way. Now, because of the fear and paranoia around communism at the time, people began to believe that the fluoridation of our water supply was actually a communist plot to poison our water. There are people that still believe this, so it's not just a product of the time. Now, you may be asking, what would communists have to gain from putting fluoride in our water supply? Why would people believe that communists put fluoride in our water in the first place? Well, the answer is quite simple. Delusion. 11. Obama manufactured Hurricane Sandy. So, a bit of background for this one first. If you weren't aware, there's a program run by the US Air Force and Navy called HAARP, H-A-A-R-P, that does experiments in the upper atmosphere to track radio waves that interfere with communication and navigation down on Earth. Because of this program, people have believed that the HAARP is able to manipulate the Earth's weather. If that weren't ridiculous enough, people believed that the then President Barack Obama used this program to manufacture Hurricane Sandy a week before his re-election in an attempt to gain support, stating, "The established media will naturally provide all the propaganda Obama needs to sweep the election on Tuesday, November 6th, a week after the hurricane is projected to hit." 10. Alex Jones and Sandy Hook. Alex Jones is back to say some horrible false theories again. So this happened within hours of the Sandy Hook shootings in 2012. He began saying that the whole thing was a government-fabricated hoax. He claimed the victims' families were lying and that the children who were killed were actually alive. His supporters then bombarded the families with harassment, including death threats. The families that were harassed sued Jones and his company InfoWars for defamation. Thankfully, Jones recently lost the case and was forced to pay almost $1.5 million in damages to the families. 9. The Phantom Time Hypothesis Theory. The Phantom Time Hypothesis Theory is the theory that the years from 641 to 911 CE never really happened. It was a German historian by the name of Herbert Illig that devised this theory, all based on the idea that Pope Sylvester II, Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII changed the historical calendar from 1996 CE to 1000 CE in an effort to make Otto III's reign seem longer and more important. He claims that the evidence behind this is the lack of archaeological finds during this period of time and sole reliance on written history. He claims that they fabricated historical documents for this gap in time, invented a fake ruler by the name of Charlemagne, yes, that one, and that through all of this historical tampering, an extra 297 years was added onto history. Illig has found supporters to this theory, and not just crazed loons in their basements. There are other historians who believe in this theory. 8. Nazis live in the Earth's core. Like some sort of anti-Semitic version of Journey to the Center of the Earth, people actually believe that Nazis, including Hitler, traveled to the center of the Earth and still live there to this day. The belief is that the center of the Earth contains an extremely powerful natural resource called viral, and that Hitler wanted to harness its power. Now, the whole viral or viral thing comes from a novel written by Edward Bulwer Lytton, the same guy that coined the phrase, "The pen is mightier than the sword," and "'Twas a dark and stormy night." The novel goes on to suggest that the center of the Earth is hollow, and that the Aryan Nazis came from the center of the Earth, and that they still live there. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Well, Well, somebody did, but we don't have the slightest clue as to why. 7. The moon is fake. You've heard of the fake moon landing theory, but get ready for the next step and learn about the conspiracy theory that the moon isn't even real at all. There are people who genuinely believe that the moon isn't real. Some theorists believe that the moon is a government-fabricated distraction to some other theory. Some believe, including a Russian scientist, that the moon may actually be some sort of space station. And some even believe that the reason we actually see the moon is because it's just a massive hologram. What evidence do any of these crazy theories have? Well, none. 6. Big Pharma has a cure for cancer. Despite the fact that there are thousands of cancer researchers who are actually looking for a cure for cancer, there are people who think that that cure already exists. Theorists claim that big pharma companies are withholding the cure for cancer from the public to make sure that they keep making profits. Cancer researchers and members of big pharma companies have said multiple times that a quick treatment for cancer would be far more profitable for big pharma and insurance companies than the current cancer treatments that are in place. 5. COVID-19 was biowarfare. There are many people who believe that COVID-19 was actually created in a lab in China, which had been disproven by multiple sources, but there are also people who believe that coronavirus was an attempt of biowarfare on the US. Their belief in this theory comes from a supposed hundreds of documents, including confidential reports, emails, and scientific papers, as well as interviews with US State Department officials who have investigated the pandemic's source. How these theorists could have possibly gotten a hold of these classified documents to believe that COVID was a bioweapon is a mystery, but something tells me it's just paranoia, which also can be pretty viral. 4. COVID-19 isn't real. Despite the fact that there are 800,000 deaths and 55 million confirmed infections just in the US alone, there were many, and still are many, that believe that COVID-19 doesn't exist. Whether this belief be based on nothing more than propaganda or just pure fear and ignorance, we're not sure. Despite the mass amount of information to prove that this belief is false, people refuse to believe in any of the evidence. It's genuinely embarrassing how often the World Health Organization has had to go on record and say that COVID-19 is real. 3. AIDS isn't real. Unfortunately, the more recent conspiracy theory that COVID-19 was a hoax isn't the first time in history that people have claimed that a worldwide pandemic was fake. Back during the AIDS epidemic, people claimed that the whole disease was fabricated by the CIA to kill off homosexuals and African Americans. Not only did people believe this, but again, there are still people who believe this. There are even people who believe that the CIA directly injected gay men with AIDS in an effort to wipe them out. 2. Bill Gates uses vaccines to put microchips in people. We've heard a lot about the COVID-19 conspiracy theories, but this one takes the cake. Bill Gates came under fire not too long ago because the theory started spreading that he was using COVID-19 vaccines to implant microchips into people. What these microchips were supposed to be doing, who knows? Bill Gates commented on these theories, stating, "It's almost hard to deny this stuff because it's so stupid or strange that even to repeat it gives it credibility." 1. NASA is a hoax machine. This theory proposes the idea that the entirety of NASA is no more than a government-created organization to create falsehoods and fabricate myths, like the fact that the Earth is round, or that the stars are far away, and that the sun is real. The people that believe this say there is abundant proof that NASA lies about virtually everything that they say, and that all the photos provided are just CGI. However, the same people that believe this have a difficult time coming up with better proof than "it's just impossible" or "it doesn't make sense." So, what's a conspiracy theory you believe in? Are they any of these? Let us know in the comments below, and like I said, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. It honestly helps the channel. Numbers have been going back up lately. I think you guys are starting to realize we're back. It's only been, 11 months. But thank you guys so much. I love you, and as always, I'll see you next time. Or will I? It's a conspiracy.